Oh, right, I need to get the internet thing. I need a better streaming internet. Oof, it's a mess of wires back here. Okay. Okay, good. Internet is up. Time to make some announcements. Okay. Instagram. I think I'm actually gonna take. Oh. What closed? Why did this close? There we go. Okay, turns out closing the window gets rid of the program on OBS. That's funny. Okay, I'll take a quick screen cap of this, I think. There we go. Okay. Oh, it didn't save. Dang. One more try. Where is my shit? Ah, here we go. Post. And then copy this. Post. Okay, share that. Oh, why is everything so slow right now? Awesome, post is shared. Okay. Why does everything take forever? All right, that's done. Okay, I think that's enough setup. All right, I guess I will get started by talking a little bit about what exactly I'm doing here, because normally when I do these art live streams, it's me working on the next update for my webcomic. Well, I actually finished working on my webcomic for this week already. I went by pretty fast this time. So I decided that instead of just like doing the same old thing, since I've freed up my schedule a little bit, I'm gonna try to get back to a project I've had to put on hold for the past like month or so, which is I'm currently working on doing some storyboards for what will become a trailer for Where the Strays Roam, the webcomic. Ideally, a trailer that I can post on platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, something I can use as a way to get the word out about the webcomic and draw some more eyes to it. Something that'll get it sort of out of that webtoon bubble. Ideally, it's going to be fully animated once it's complete, which I don't know exactly how long that's going to take. I don't have a set timeline for this. But right now I'm just kind of focused on getting the storyboards into a place that looks and feels good, just so I have a good sense of the timing and all of the assets and the shots I'm going to need to develop for it. So what I've got so far is really just the rough blocking of all the shots and what they're going to look like. So today I'm going to be doing some timing, getting sort of a rough timeout of how the trailer is going to be paced. And from there I'm going to figure out if I need some more drawings, stuff like that. And then I will move on to finalizing the designs, cleaning up some of the more rougher outlines, although storyboards are supposed to stay pretty rough for the most part. So, with that being said, let's get to it. Although, I forgot, I forgot to grab my drawing glove. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm gloved up. This is just so when my hand hits the touch screen, it's not leaving a bunch of stray marks behind. Alright. Let's get down to business here, then. So the program I'm using here is something called Toon Boom Storyboard Pro, and this is like industry standard program for storyboarding. So yeah, like the the actual big name studios use this program 9 times out of 10 for storyboarding their actual projects, and it's like the only one of its kind. Like, I've looked for other competing services that offer the same level of capability for storyboards. Storyboard Pro is kind of the only one that really has like an all-in-one program. Like, you can find ones that are for editing video and programs that are for drawing, but not ones that'll let you draw and edit at the same time. Like, you can switch back and forth between a timeline view and yeah, you can switch back and forth between doing a timeline view and doing the actual like drawings, which is very cool. Although it's been a while since I've used the program. I first started using it back in college, which is almost a while ago, you know? We're not quite at a decade, but it's been over half a decade. So I'm gonna have to... You guys are gonna get to watch me sort of relearn this as I go. Oh, there's the timeline. I don't know how to switch into that on here, though. Oh, shit. I just took it away. Okay. Release proportion grid. Camera reframe. Oh, view. Onion skin, no. Okay, pulling up the timeline. I don't know if I can like stick it down here or something. I could have sworn from my experience at school there was a way to make this bottom part turn into the timeline. Because it's a lot easier to edit, well, timing in the timeline. Using the software, good for you. Oh, hey! Hey, thanks for stopping by, Mark. It's great to see you in chat. Yeah, making use of the program. Also trying to relearn it a little bit. I might open up the help menu and just take a quick look-see. User guide. Timing. Using the timeline view. Right. But, like, how do I open? Right, how do I open? It's great of you to tell me that there's a timeline view, but, how do I open it? View? No. Stage view. Guides. That's my guidelines. No. Oh wait, maybe plus? Timeline. There we go. Haha, I figured it out. Let's see, another way to like zoom. Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah, so when they're in these like big boxes like this, you can kind of just like click and drag things around, and that'll change how long the panel is on screen for, which, you know, very good for timing stuff. Makes it super easy to use. Okay, let's see. Ah, friggin' shortcut keys don't work. What's playback? Playback. Oh, shift enter. Shift enter, okay. Or maybe not. Yeah, shift enter doesn't work. I guess I could just hit the play button at the top of the screen, even though that's boring as hell. Right, so this shot, it's just simple clouds moving. Let's see. Another cool feature about this program is that you can put in like dialogue text. Just to sort of like, oh, this is what's going to be said during this sequence. Let's see. And, you know, I'm not too concerned about the movement not being wholly accurate because, I mean, it is a storyboard. It's not supposed to be full motion yet. But it just sort of gives you the idea of like, oh yeah, clouds are in fact moving. I think it's okay to space this out a little bit. This scene, since it's like foliage, sort of rustling, it's going to be a lot shorter, and it's probably going to repeat a couple of times. Right, so it's like... So yeah, I just duplicated this panel, and then I move it over here. And we sort of get this, like... Yeah, the sort of setup loop. Probably make it a little shorter than that. Maybe like 10 seconds. Okay. Ooh, I kind of hate that spacebar doesn't play. Okay, that almost felt pretty good. Might be a little fast. Let's space it out a little bit more. Honestly, I probably should have recorded some scratch dialogue before I started doing the actual editing segment, because it is a little easier to pace this with the narration, because I do want to have narration playing on this. Okay, for this one, we got the cat jumping on the car. Longer hold in the start. We got this nice shot of someone's decaying corpse laying on the steering wheel. In the final design of the shot, it's going to be a lot more hidden. So it'll be like kind of an Easter egg of people being like, oh, looking around at the shot and they're like, oh my god, it's a skeleton. The help shows you can use them together. I couldn't figure it out, so I used timeline and a separate window for thumbnails. That makes sense. I also kind of like having them on the same bar. You can just kind of flip back and forth here. I wonder. Can I change the quick menu keys? Keyboard shortcuts. Here we go. Play navigation. Play. Play doesn't even have anything set for it. Space. Free pan and zoom. Okay, we'll make it just shift space. There we go. That's so much better. Yeah, so you can kind of see just immediately how slow that is. Obviously, this is going to be a pretty quick movement. The cat darting across here. That needs to be shorter too. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Okay. Good news is so far a lot of these scenes don't seem like they need any more drawings. This is pretty good for a storyboard. I might change the angle of that though. It feels like it's... Well, no, that's fine actually. I think I need a panel without the cat coming out of it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little copy, a little paste. And then we'll go to this one and we'll just, boop, get rid of the cat. Oh, I forgot to put the dialogue in this one. Hang on. Hang on, where's my script? I'm pretty well organized in my computer, but I also have just a fuck ton of folders. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna have to duplicate that into every text box here, though. Longer on this one. I mean, I kind of want, like... This one's supposed to be like a pseudo jump scare where it's like, you know, the cat is turned away from the camera, and then it looks at the camera, and then all these other, like, you won't be able to see the kittens as well, but you'll see, like, glowing eyes peeking out of the hole in here. Just be like oh, there's so many of them. So it's supposed to feel kind of sudden. But I also don't want... I don't know if... Part of it feels a little too fast. Maybe it's fine. Maybe I should drag this back a little bit. Now, like I said, this is just the rough timing. I'll go back and refine it some more once I have the scratch audio recorded. I'd like to ask someone to record actual audio for this. No, you can see the top of the cat's legs. I thought... Yeah, it goes out... Oh, well, I guess the circles are still in camera. Yeah, it still kind of goes out of frame a little bit. I just realized that's kind of an identical POV. I wonder if that feels too much like a jump cut. I like this shot, though. I mean, I like the little rat going like, ooh, 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 ooh. That's definitely supposed to be faster. Make this even shorter. Even shorter on that one, I think. Maybe just a tad. Just one extra second. This is kind of the fun thing about timeline editing is that, like, it's really all about the feeling. You gotta have a good sense of the timing of different movements in order to create something that really feels like it's happening within the time span it would in real life. It's not something that you really realize takes so much real thought and attention until you actually try to do it. that's a good hold on the end there. And we've got poor dying cat here. It's rough, buddy. The inhales are going to be longer than the exhales. Maybe a little too short on that. You'd be surprised how often the rule of threes applies, even in things like video timing. I feel like it needs to exhale one more time, and then it should be good. This first one isn't quite as timed as the others. Honestly, the 1 second timing on that isn't too bad. Just a little head bow. Nope. Closed it again. Damn it. Jump scare. Alright, it's time for the action scenes. These ones are gonna be a bitch to animate, that's for sure. Got a good old North American badger coming in here. Size compared to cats, a little inaccurate. But when it comes to drawing where the strays roam, I always had the idea that since the story is told from the perspective of cats, I wanted the audience to see the world through their eyes as well. So, like, things that threaten them look like huge, scary monsters, even if that might not be wholly accurate to real-life size comparisons. Just to make them feel more like a threat so that the audience processes how the cats feel about this situation. No, I actually think this should be shorter. Raw, big scary noises. I'm gonna go back in and add some camera movements as well, because I think I'd like a slow zoom on this. On these shots here. And then obviously some camera shake on the badger roar. Yeah, that obviously should be way shorter. here we got another fun motion sequence. We've got a flood of foxes running. It doesn't keep the copy. I have to copy it again. Interesting. There's another one that's going to have a lot more camera movement as opposed to actual motion, just because a crowd shot, way too fucking difficult for me. I'll still have to see if this is even plausible for me to do with my current skill level, but we'll see. We'll see. So that one will probably come back and do a little more work on later. Here's a fun one. I haven't gotten to introduce dogs yet in the comic, but oh boy am I excited to. I think this needs one more drawing where he gets real close to the screen. But you can see the idea here. The dog, like, runs up in a, you know, another big scary monster shot. Yeah, that probably needs another panel. You can see, like, the slight, you know, differences in reaction times, like this cat here, because he's already, like, standing upright. You know, it was the first one to, like, be like, oh shit, it's a dog, and then runs off, and this other one who was asleep, he's like, what's going on? Oh, fuck! I think I've talked about this before, but I think one of the things that makes cats great characters for a story is because of the interesting place they occupy on the food chain. They're what's considered, like, a mid-tier predator. So that means that, you know, while there are plenty of things that cats hunt and eat, there's also plenty of things that hunt and eat cats, at least in the wild. Like, smaller cats, they fall victim to, like, you know, larger predators all the time. So you've got sort of this interesting mix of predator and prey, which means that while cats can be super badass and capable in a fight and really aggressive, there's also plenty of, like, I guess you can say dragons that you can put them up against. You know, like the same kind of enemies you would encounter if you were running a D&D campaign or some shit. Yeah, that needs another panel because that's not the best shot to end it on. Alright, let's do that real quick. Since we're here and all. Duplicate. Time to actually put on the drawing glove. Damn, so much head. What did you mean by this? I'm gonna turn up the volume mixing a little bit on that. It kind of seems like, oh, I think it was just because it was ending. It seemed really quiet. Okay. We're just gonna get rid of that. Boop. And I think we can just get rid of that cat. Oh, here's a fun feature. This program has something called onion skinning. Click that on and you can see, like, all of the previous panels stuff. Really good for marking your place, making sure that you are, you know, drawing things in their correct position. I'm thinking maybe a screen transition where the dog kind of presses up against the camera as it chases the cat off screen, and it sort of feels like it's colliding with the viewer. as it does that. Oh, why is that so black and white? I just had to swap it to color. I quite enjoy using this classic animator's technique of drawing your objects and figures in color. It really helps to find some degree of separation. Ooh, Oh, I was like, where the hell is the opacity? I think it's... Oh, it's right up here. Yeah, you just... I don't think you can do it through pen, but I know if you, like, click and drag... Oh, it's like this. I'm just gonna turn the opacity down on the background layer so I can see a little better. And then you can imagine another panel where it's just kind of like... New panel. This one completely blank. It's kind of like a super close-up of the fur here. The thing about storyboards is that they're not the final product. It's just to get your point across. Oh, that's right, I can't pan with my fingers like I can on Clip Studio. Okay, back to timeline mode. Okay. Honestly, a little too fast. No, that's just like too much of a jump. It should probably be more of the torso and less of the head. Oh shit, wrong layer. Haha. Thank God for undo buttons. Okay, onion skin. Okay, so... Okay, let's see how that feels. Oh, turn off onion skinning. Okay, that feels better. Feels like it follows the natural turn a little bit more. Now we've got my personal favorite guy. Yeah. You can't recognize him very well in sketch form, but this is supposed to be the main villain from Story 1. Good ol' Wasp. Love that guy. He's got to be one of my favorite creations I made for this comic. And then his cult of personality here. Coming at the viewer. There's another one that's going to have camera movements in it, just the eyes opening. Oh, all the dialogue for... I didn't put dialogue in this section? What? Look at this shit. I'm thinking insert a black screen here on this one. New panel, paint tool, and then just make it black. Oh, I can't just make it black. Okay. Maybe enclosing it will do it? No, that didn't do shit. Oh, can't. That doesn't fill. Yeah, I guess I'll just take a really big ass brush. That's not solid. That's not solid either. That is a cool effect, though. Whoa. I didn't know it had this. You can honestly make some pretty crazy shit in Toon Boom. I just want a black screen. Maybe if I do a big rectangle and then I fill the rectangle? Hey, there we go, that worked. I'm curious to see what that looks like now. Cool. I will shorten that up because it's just supposed to be like a quick flash for transitionary purposes. Okay, then we've got They will survive. Okay, this one's gonna be like a slow zoom in. I'm voicing it out in my head to try to get the timing right. You know what, let's go ahead and do a camera movement. I feel like it. Let's see. Camera. I'm gonna have to relearn how to do this too. Camera. Add keyframe. And I want to come all the way down here. And hit. I feel like there's a specific button for this. There it is. And then we click on this, then you can do shit like this to move the camera around. But we don't need it to move, we just need it to zoom. Is it this? No, that just moves the whole thing around. That moves the whole thing around too. How? Ah, there we go. We're gonna push that camera in. And then, yeah, that's what it looks like. I think it should actually come in further. Get up real close to those eyes. Yeah. That feels pretty good. Yeah, still not quite long enough. Just a tad longer. Alright, and then these next few shots are kind of just still images. There'll be stills with like some camera effects going on, a little bit of parallaxing. So some movement, just not direct movement of the characters. And then, ideally, the music and the sound effects will carry these moments more. And then this last scene is this scene is kind of the final animated sequence here. So like cat A collides with cat B, and then cat B gets pushed sort of into the camera. Camera falls over. Cat A comes into view. Kill shot. I think this might need another panel before it. Just one more previous pose. for this year's room. I still gotta come up with some kind of a logo for the comic. I've been meaning to do this for years. Just, you know, some kind of a design that I can like stamp onto things. It's just like a quick little branding thing. Alright, this one should also be a black screen. We'll just do the same thing as last time. It worked out just fine. Same principle as the scene with the dog, I think. Should be like a close-up of just fur against the camera lens. And then once it clears, the camera is on its back. Yeah, I'm thinking one more previous panel. Add a panel, move it over here. I think I honestly kind of want to do a camera movement, but that is kind of ambitious. Let's see what we can do. Dynamic camera movements can be so integral to making a scene feel vibrant and alive, especially if you're doing an action set piece of any kind. Trying to rotate this shit three-dimensionally. Turn that opacity down. And I think on this one, yeah, I think. Okay. Okay, that's not bad. Kind of gets across the idea, like we follow the camera up. Okay. Yeah, don't keep playing. I was working on something. Bong. Where the strays roam. Yeah. Okay. Alright, let's see, where else was there camera movement? Ah, right, here. Camera mode. Boop. Boop. And on this one, we're gonna just an ever so slight pull in. Build a little bit of that dramatic tension. Honestly, even slighter than that, I think. And then this one. I feel like I learned how to do camera shake like once. I think that might be something more specific I want to look up. How to do camera shake in Storyboard Pro. Okay, so it's easier to do camera shake in post. Okay. I won't bother putting it in Storyboard Pro. Oh, what's this? Animating a camera shake. Oh, that's in Harmony. That's the actual animation software. That's not Storyboard Pro. Alright. We will just remember that there's camera shake in this shot. I feel like this needs one previous panel because it's kind of a sudden. Yeah. Let's get out of camera view. Copy paste. Time to erase. Turn on that onion skin. I don't want to see that big before button though. No previous panels. I actually think this cat can stay the same. Here's one thing I do remember. You can lasso select. Copy. Jump here. Paste. That's pretty handy. Not gonna lie. This body type honestly looks more bear than badger. I'm gonna have to look up what badgers look like again. Badger. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. I think the snout's too long. Ah, whatever. I can fix it in post. It's fine. Badgers are deceptively cute. They look pretty adorable, but then, you know, they lift up their lips or open their mouth and it's just, demon! And their bodies are very, like, flat. So weird looking. There. I think that's fine. Shorter on that first panel. Okay, awesome. I think that was the only one left there. Yeah, because everything else felt actually pretty dang good. Okay, awesome. Next up is to just refine these boards a little bit more, which I'll do a little bit of, probably for like another hour before I end the stream. Quick stretch break. Alright, let's begin. Watermelon? What is watermelon? Oh, it's real streaky. That's what they mean. Take off that onion skin. Okay. So luckily finalizing storyboards actually isn't that hard. Blobs? Oh, interesting. Granted. I'm just playing with the brushes now. I think I actually want this. We want a solid brush. Make it real big so we can cover lots of surface area. Go with a lighter gray, probably. So yeah, for storyboards, you pretty much do everything in grayscale, which is great. I'm gonna refine these lines a little bit too, although I really like the sketchy brush, so I think we're gonna keep that at least. Actually, the line tool is probably going to be useful right now. Yeah, it's kind of cool that you can apply the different textures to the line tool. I need to kind of look up a reference for a glass building, or just a skyscraper in general. Yeah, skyscrapers are like deceptively simple looking. Then you're like, oh, it's only a couple of lines, but if any of those lines are slightly off, it suddenly can't tell what it is anymore. And I also do have to remind myself not to spend so much friggin' time on these boards. Just because the entire point of storyboards is this is part of the planning process. So you get these done, like, as quickly as friggin' possible. So you can do revisions as fast as possible. They're never supposed to be your final product, so it's fine if things aren't 100% right. The important thing is the idea clear? Are you expressing yourself well? And I'll have all the time in the world to make this look real good once it's being finalized into an actual animation. Oh shit, I drew that all in the same layer? You gotta be fucking kidding me. The curse of the artist. Always drawing shit on the same layer. I don't even know if I can back it up all the way. Who knows how far back? I think I hit it. I hit the limit. Okay, you know what? This is fine, actually, because we can just, crank that opacity down again. Make a new layer. And then we just trace over what we already did. And it'll be fine. Oh. Why is this? Huh. Oh, is this the wrong layer type? It's probably the wrong layer type. Delete. There we go. Right, it's gonna be on vector. It's like a curse I have that I'll always draw on the wrong layer at least once on a project. Well, that's why the good news about doing things digitally is that you can always go back and make a new layer and just trace over the shit you already did. Now I can turn that layer off. Okay, new layer. We take a darker shade of gray and super roughly box in the buildings. The coloring jobs don't have to look very pretty either. The idea with using the different gray tones is to try to separate foreground, middle ground, and background a little bit. Normally the background will be done in shades of gray. Oops. And then things that are supposed to be of attention, like characters or any sort of moving objects or anything, will be done in white. In this scene, the only thing moving is the clouds, so I'm actually going to make the clouds the white object, which makes sense because they're clouds, and clouds should be white. Okay, I'm gonna take a brush. Solid circle brush should be fine. Just a really rough cloud shape. It is pretty nice that Storyboard Pro supports pen pressure. So like the harder I press on my stylus, the thicker the line gets. And then if I keep it light, it stays pretty thin. It's always nice to be able to naturally change the width of your line on the fly. Oh, I forgot a building. Is there a color picker? There it is. That's a color picker. There. Oops. I want to do storyboards for 3D stuff where it's even less necessary to get everything exactly right. Yet I can't stop myself from fussing over everything. Measure twice, cut once, find out the cut is still off, Control-Z, measure again. Accurate. Accurate. It's kind of funny. I've done a little bit of 3D animation, but it's kind of funny that, like, in a style of creation that's supposed to make it easier to keep things consistent, you become more obsessed with the little inconsistencies as a result. Oh, whoops, that didn't... Copy layers. Paste layer. There we go. That did it. Oh, I can turn this off now. Put it down here. Where's that object grabbing tool? Well, that's one of them. Here we go. And then you just kind of wee down that away. Now I gotta fill in the rest of that cloud. As someone who's had classes on 3D animation, so true. Haha, very true. Copy. And paste. And we take the clouds. Really drag a little bit further. You know, 3D animation honestly feels less like animation to me and more like puppetry. It's like stop motion 2.0. Which I don't think is a bad thing, but I think it kind of goes to illustrate why 2D and 3D feels so different. Nice. I do have to go turn that layer off. 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 Let's just move this up here. I don't necessarily want to delete anything, just in case I need to go back and reference my sketches. But we can put them in the timeout zone down there. Which sounds mean to say. But, you know. The thing is with 3D, you need to make sure everything is just right before you start the actual project. It's harder to fix a problem you find halfway through. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've always sort of categorized the two forms as based on, like, where their time and effort values really are. Oop, keep turning that off. So, like, in 3D, they're a lot more heavy on the setup. Because once you have everything in place beforehand, it'll make the rest of the animation process go so much more smoothly. Whereas when you have 2D, it doesn't need as much setup in the beginning. Like, you need to do still like the concept development and things like that, but when you're getting set up to actually start animating, you can kind of just start, you know? And then a lot of the big time sinks come later in the process when you're having to do cleanups. Making sure that the lines and the colors look right and that they're not jittering around all over the place and that all of the sizing and everything is consistent. So in 2D, it's the revision process that takes a lot longer. You know, whereas if you were to try to do that in 3D, like you mentioned, Neono, the whole thing would just get fucked up. But once you have that setup in place for 3D, it makes the animation process itself so quick. I mean, like, I remember watching Encanto for the first time and looking at Mirabel's skirt and all of the embroidered patterns she had on there, and I was like, you could only make a skirt like that in 3D. If she was a 2D Disney-era character, hoo boy! I don't envy the person who's doing that. Oh, there we go. Whee! Honestly, this sketch is pretty damn clean. I think I might just keep this. And redo all the plants and stuff with black outlines, I think. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Okay. Oh, that's like, yeah, that was like the initial sketch. Okay. I think we'll go darkest in the very back on this one, and then we'll get lighter as we come to the front. Why is that? Why is that not showing through anything? Oh, is that the same color? Okay, I might have to start one lighter. Yeah, there we go. Whee! Fill in this whole back section here. And then new layer. Go lighter for the foreground, or the midground. You could have just done Mirabel's skirt the same way the clothes were done in Chowder. Yeah, but that's a completely different aesthetic design, though. Like, if if they were to do something in that style, it would have changed the tone of the movie completely. Because that's, like, one of the things you really got to take into consideration about any element of design. Even if it doesn't feel like it makes a huge difference, it does. Changing aesthetic things like that. I feel like this distinction could be a lot sharper here. Yeah, that's better. Because the bench is still a focal point element here. I spent a lot of time studying reference material of bus stops and bus stop benches. Something comes with experience, knowing and planning all that you'll need for what you're making and getting it done. And at the same time, not spending lots of time on it. Yep, yeah. I mean, that's another kind of an important thing for people who are learning. Speed comes with experience and a lot of practice. Don't be surprised that the first time you try to do something, it takes you forever. That's totally normal. Where's my fucking... There it is. Gotta keep telling myself, don't be precious with it. Me. Mm-hmm. I remember there was a shortcut key for zoom out. I don't remember what it is. Oh, it's 1 and 2. Or maybe it's not. go something like... You know what? I'm just gonna change it, I think. There. There we go. Heh. Yeah, frick you, I make my own shortcut keys. I used public transportation for the first time in a while a couple weeks ago, and this looks exactly like what sitting at a bus stop felt like. Just sitting so long, you're gonna start growing weeds. You know, I'm lucky enough I haven't had to take public transit at all since I've moved out to LA. The joys of bringing your car with you. Meanwhile, my poor roommate has to take the bus to work every day. Whew. I do not envy him that. It's honestly kind of crazy how car-reliant the city is. Like, if you don't have a car, it cuts off a lot of your opportunities for things like specific jobs and the like. Yep, it was not this run down, but sitting alone early in the morning, just watching my phone and the cars pass by. Very liminal, I can imagine. I imagine LA public transportation is a whole different beast. Yeah. Yeah, this one friend who also doesn't have a car, he has to take like 3 buses to get over to my place. It's kind of insane. And God, am I glad my boyfriend has a car, because if he didn't, I would probably never see him. He lives an hour outside the city. Up in an area called Lancaster, which apparently, though, the people who live there regularly commute into LA for, like, their 9-to-5s. Like, that sounds insane. I can't imagine doing that. To talk about some animation news, has anybody been seeing the new King of the Hill reboot stuff that's been dropping? It's funny, I swear, I just started watching that show on Hulu like a couple months ago, and then they were like, oh hey, look, bringing the show back. Honestly, I think that's one of those reboots that I think has a decent chance of working out. Only because something about how the way the show was presented, I think, you know, as long as they keep to that original formula while tackling some new topics, it could work. It'll probably hold up decently well. I can hear my roommates cackling. Something funny must be happening. This is pretty sloppy coloring, but like I said, we're not caring about it too much. We're just getting the point across. It can look pretty once it's actually put together. I'm still kind of going back and forth over how animated I want this to be. Like, I'm kind of been sliding around between being, oh, go full 2D animation, or, just do like a, you know, like a moving picture sort of a thing. Limited motion. More tweening. I heard your roommate's cackling too. It's a good quality microphone. I can't really tell if Raleigh is car dependent or not because there are a lot of things nearby me specifically that I can just walk to. I think Raleigh is pretty walkable friendly, if only because it's such a small city. But yeah, it's also not like they make a huge effort to beef up their public transportation. I would definitely say it's less car dependent than LA is. Apparently LA used to have trolleys, like the ones in San Francisco. That you could just hop on and hop off to get to places. But they took those out so they could, like, expand the roads for more cars. Which is, like, super fucking ironic. Because it's like, you know, we might not have needed all that extra car space if you'd kept the trolleys. Though it probably still would have been necessary for me to drive, since I live technically 15 minutes outside the city proper. Like, Van Nuys is still, like, part of LA. Like, my zip code says Los Angeles County on it. But, you know, if you want to go into, like, Hollywood and see the sights, or do any major shopping or anything, you're gonna have to actually, like, drive into the city. Oh, I forgot something. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking differentiation. Oh wow, that just completely changed. Holy shit, I didn't realize I fucked that up so bad. Alright. Onion Skin is like, ah! Too much shit. Alright. I can just kind of... well, you know what? Yeah, I can just kind of delete the rest rest of these. Delete. And then we grab these, copy, paste. Copy, paste. There we go. The cycle's back. That's pretty much a plot point in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Didn't put too much detail into the background on this one. That means I can do a little more with it. Okay. We won't make the outlines as dark as the main character here. I think maybe we'll do some foliage in this spot here. Moss growing on the sides here. Nice big crack going through the windshield, I think. No, I think that's too much. Maybe we'll just confine that crack to up here. Am I wrong? I actually don't remember what you're talking about, if I'm being honest, bro. I kind of forgot immediately what I said. Oh wait, was the thing about the trolleys in Los Angeles? That would make sense, yeah. Empty skull. I don't really remember the trolleys coming up in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but it's actually been a while since I've seen that movie. I might be due for a rewatch here at some point. Perhaps with my roommates. I know one of them fucking loves that movie. No, I'm not gonna try to fill that space in. It's fine, this will just be like, you know, junk on the window. Judge Doom wanted the deed to Toontown so we could demolish it and build a freeway. Oh, right! Somehow I forgot that that was the storyline for that. I like how we all just kind of inherently understand that destroying things for the sake of freeways is very silly. Just like in general. Like, the only people that really think destroying things to build a freeway is a good idea are the people that really want to build the freeways. But I mean, it's not even like freeways are that bad of an idea either. Because, like, I mean, they're kind of the best way to get from long distance place to long distance place. It's just that, like, you don't need a fucking freeway to drive in the city, or at least you really shouldn't need a freeway to drive city to city. Or within a city. There we go. I mean, it kind of looks like his body's disappearing there. We'll just... yeah, there we go. Okay, I think that's the background done. Chunk, chunk. Cats, man, they just like climbing on shit. Construction. Mr. Construction Man is here. He's here to tell you, actually, build all the freeways. So you might notice that I'm drawing outside the camera boundary a little bit. That's because doing that can help you keep your shapes and proportions more consistent. As opposed to oftentimes just ending it right at the line. It can cause your drawings to end up looking a little weird. Continuing the shape line can help with consistency. That makes sense. If you end up right at the border, it might not end up how you'd naturally continue it. Yep. It's especially useful when you are animating characters that are moving into and off of screen. It can help keep those body parts from looking like they're jittering around or just appearing like they're spontaneously generating as they hit the camera frame. Actually, I'm gonna duplicate in the background colors before I do anything else. Hang on. Copy select layers. Paste layer. There we go. Wait, where did the line layer go? Ugh. Alright, I forgot. I drew that secondary line layer on afterwards. Copy. Paste. There we go. Put these at the bottom. Copy. Paste. Paste. There. Okay, I'll probably finish up this round of boards and then I'll call it for the day. Yay. Alright, they got it finished right at 3. Nice. Alright, that's gonna be it from me for today, but thank you everyone for joining me. I'd like to start getting back to doing these drawing streams weekly. My schedule is still kind of all over the place, but it looks like I'm gonna be getting Mondays and Wednesdays off pretty regularly. So I might schedule these for every Wednesday. Hopefully a little earlier in the day than 1, but I'll keep you guys posted on that. And I think I'm probably going to dedicate those live streams to working on the trailer, just because when I'm working on the webcomic the rest of the week, it's kind of hard for me to find the time to focus on this specifically. So the live streams might be a good excuse to do that. Alright, well once again, thank you all for joining me here today. If you'd like to read the story that this trailer comes from, I've got a link to it in the description down below. And, you know, you'll get to see me work more on this. I'll probably do some of the actual animation portion on stream as well once we get to that stage. And yeah, it'll be a great time. I look forward to seeing you all again. Goodbye and have a great rest of your day.